Hello and welcome back to another episode of Podcast 572. As always, I'm your host, Kyle. I'm just joined by Matt today. Dan is out on assignment. So I guess I will start off the podcast by saying I got a new cat this last week.
Yeah.
Back up to five cats again. I've wanted to get so I think, and I've said this publicly, I guess, on the channel and stuff too, but I lost my cat Sifa last December. I've had other animals that have died and stuff in the past. This is probably the hardest for me. And it was getting to the point around end of February, March, where I actively wanted to start getting another cat, but I didn't want to tell my wife because I was afraid she was going to come back to me and be like, we have 4 cats. We're down to 4 cats now. We don't need to get a 5th cat. But we had a really good opportunity at her work. She's a vet tech assistant. And there was an unfortunate situation where these people brought in this cat that they could not afford the care for what was going on. And they kind of just left the cat. This happens a lot, to be fair. And I think she knew, but she didn't want to say anything to. It's one of those kind of situations where she knew, but she didn't want to say anything. But she started talking to me about, and again, she talks to me about all the animals that are under her care. So it's not like this was just a one-off thing. But she sent me pictures and stuff, and I just finally got to the point I was like, would there be a possibility? Because she said, the cat's friendly and everything. Her name is Sonia. We think she's we determined she's about 2 years old. I won't get cute. Into the wonderful cat. I won't get into the details, the gory details of her situation, but she had a very involved spay was her situation. So, and pretty involved, pretty messy, and expensive. So, but we did not, the hospital actually took care of that and was just kind of like, if you want to take the cat, you can. So we didn't, we took her in. She's been here for about a week now, a little over a week. She just went yesterday and she's chipped now. So she's, I guess, officially ours.
There you go.
And she's had her shots and stuff. We've started to do open the guest room door, let her interact with the other cats. I wouldn't say they're particularly all friendly yet. Definitely the territorial, hissing and that kind of stuff, but it's not horrible, and I'm sure they'll get along. So, but I think tomorrow is going to be the first day that we're just going to open the door and just see what happens.
Just let her go wild.
Well, she really wants. I will say, every cat we've gotten is different. She really wants to get out of the guest room, and she really wants to explore. She actually has gotten out, and she kind of did a very she came out of the guest room. Right, directly to the right of our guest room is our upstairs bathroom. She kind of went in there, came out, and then wanted to start eating the food where the other cats eat. And I had to pick her up and bring her back into the guest room. It was like, we're going a little too far right away here, So, but it's been awesome. She's really cool. She's really very affectionate, very sweet. Just a really amazing cat. So it's been a lot of fun, but. As far as games go, I have Content Complete Retro Rewind, basically. The only little thing that I have left to do is I have the very last expansion of the store. And then I guess achievement-wise, the game will be completed.
Nice.
I'd say it took me about 25 hours to get to this point. It is. I still would tell you it's the best of the 2 VHS rental store games that are out. I do hope, even though this game is considered a completed product and out there, it doesn't have a roadmap or anything. I do hope that they add more content to it to keep it going. But that has probably been the number one thing that has sucked me in the last 2 weeks is playing that. But now that I've content completed that game, I'm starting to get back into Crimson Desert. As far as Crimson Desert goes, I'm a lot happier with it now that I've gotten used to the controls. And I will say, from the last time that we recorded, there have been probably 3 or 4 major patches for the game. They have not fixed everything, but they have fixed some of the issues with controls. Like, yes, the game still has this really weird, janky way of jumping, and I don't think that's ever going to be fixed in the way that I would like to see. But some of the other weird, quirky things, like, I can't remember if I talked about on the podcast last week. Like, for example, there's like a Batman detective mode where you have to put on this helmet.
Yeah,
but
I remember talking about that.
It's buried in like 2 to 3 different menus.
Yeah.
Now you can just map it to a button.
Oh, nice. Okay,
so it's
they
kind
are
of like you
listening
can just hit
a little
L1
bit.
or whatever, and it's like, okay, the helmet's on, I can do this. And a lot of times when you walk into a situation where that is part of the main like quest line that you're doing, it'll just automatically put the helmet on and let you do that. So
good. Okay,
they're actively listening to stuff like that. I will continue to say this game is a PS5 Pro showpiece. Running that game on my living room TV, which is an OLED at the 120 hertz mode, like the game looks incredible visually.
Gotcha.
But the biggest problem I have with this game is it very much reminds me of how I felt when I played Oblivion 20 years ago, where it's too easy to get distracted because there's so much going on.
Okay.
And it's like kind of like Dan was asking last time we recorded, like, you know, is it like Breath of the Wild where, you know, yeah, the world's big, but there's not really a lot to do in between things. There's a lot more stuff going on in this game. There's a lot of stuff you can kind of just fall into as you're going from place to place. There is a fast travel system. The fast travel system, like as you unlock those, like that's very nice because again, the world is fucking insane. It's huge. Probably, we'll see if I'm ever done with it, but we'll see when I get closer to being done with it, how big it is in comparison to other games that I've played. But like, I've barely scratched the surface. And a lot of it is just like, I'll do a little bit of the main quest line. And then I will still tell you, as I've gotten more into the story for this game is shit. It's not good. Like that is probably its weakest element. It's not a good story. Okay. But it is everything surrounding the game that I find incredibly fascinating.
Gotcha.
So the combat is pretty decent in the game. I just like exploring the world. I think I was telling you the other day, one of the sessions I loaded up, I just was like, fuck it, I'm gonna get my horse, I'm just gonna ride in this one direction. I wound up in some weird forest where there's these like children that are just continuously shooting poison blow darts at you, and they knock you out and just drag you to the end of the forest. I have no clue what's going on. Like that happened to me 2 times. I was like, I'm done exploring this forest right now. Like I'm just gonna go in the other direction.
This forest is not that important anymore.
I'm sure there's some sort of story thing with it. I have no idea. So it's stuff like that I really like about the game and really enjoy. So like now that I'm done with Retro Rewind for the most part, like this will be the primary thing that I play. And I think I said last week too, like I don't have a major release or anything coming out until probably Bond and the Lego Batman game. They're like a week apart. Yeah. And that's always how it works for me. Everything's always like a week apart, and then you get this long break. So, but I'm enjoying the game much more. The more I get into it, it's just finding the time to sit down and have more than an hour, and then I have to tell myself like, try and do this story mission. Yeah. Like, don't get distracted. It's so easy to get distracted in that game. I will say I've done a couple more boss fights in the game, and the boss fights are very well done. And that's where the challenge of the game comes in, I think, too. Like, regular fights in the game feel kind of Assassin's Creed-like. But when you get to some of these bosses, there's a lot more strategy involved to them. Okay. So for people that are playing the game, the last boss that I fought was this Red Devil guy. I don't know what his storyline is, because the story of this game I think is shit, but he can like teleport around you and like have different versions of him pop up, and it's a very interesting boss fight. So, but I'll say that too. That's the other weird thing that happened. So like, and they didn't let people know about this until right before the game was releasing. There are 2 other playable characters in the game. Are there? There's another dude and a chick. So I've unlocked the chick, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. I'll go do something as her. And so I went to go do like the next story mission as her. And immediately, like when you go to do that, it pops up on the screen. It's like, this is Cliff's story. Please switch to him. I'm like, oh, okay. So I don't yet know what the benefit of having these 2 other characters to play as is.
Okay.
But we'll see. So,
yeah.
But that's part of the game is like you're trying to find back your band of what are they called? I think you're called a gray main. I think that's like the faction your character is. You're trying to like get that band of people back together. So
okay.
And I'm like partially done. That's basically the main gist of the story, but I still the story is distracting. And then the last thing I'll say is like the quick time events are still shit. It still has that problem of like we have a cursor that is black on black and incredibly hard to see. And I'm not a colorblind person. It's why I didn't do arm wrestling again. I had to do a stealth mission, and I will be honest, like every time I would get caught and somebody would tackle me, there's the quick time event. I could not do any of them. I'm just like, fuck it. I'll just start over again.
That's wild.
It made me do that mission. It made me do a run of that mission, like perfectly getting through it because I was forced to, because I couldn't do the quick time event. So it was like after like 4 or 5 times, I was like, okay, I knew what to do and I got through it. But I really hope that they fix that, because that is a big problem. Anytime. And the quick time events, it's not a really common thing. They don't come up that much, at least as much as I played of the game, but it is still a major issue. So more to come on that though. I am really enjoying it, and now that I'm got the distraction of Retro Rewind out of my way, and there really isn't any other distractions, that I know of that are coming out. Although I will say, like, every day as we inch closer to the Starfield coming out on PS5, I look and I go, maybe I should do that.
Yeah.
Even though I've already played it. So no, I'm going to be good, and I'm going to wait till it goes on sale. The last thing that I have on my list, and I have not played this. I bought this for my wife because I knew she would. She saw the trailer when they put up the trailer for this game, and I knew it'd be something right up her alley. And that's that Darwin's Paradox game. Yeah. I don't know if you've seen anything about that. It's the
octopus one.
Yeah. So I bought that for her because I immediately, like, I saw when they announced that game, and I showed her the trailer. I'm like, this totally seems like something you'd like to play. And I also needed her to stop talking to me about High on Life too. So this was a good, like, so I had her start it. I have not seen very much of it, but she started the game. But I will say it's one of those games where when you start it, and this is a problem on the PS5 Pro, but like every single game for that system specifically, they always want to start you on the quality mode.
Okay.
And so I noticed that, like, I came out of the office when I was working today, like on a break, and she was playing it, and I looked at the screen. I'm like, why does this look weird?
Yeah.
And I'm like, let me see the controller for a second. I looked at it, it's on quality mode, so it's running at 30 frames, and that just looked goofy. So I switched it for it really quick. I'm like, just play it this way. And it ran so much better.
There you go.
Game looks cool though. Like the little bit I saw of it, it looks like a very decent platformer. So will I play it? I don't know.
It didn't look bad.
I'm not good with sad animal games, so
yeah,
like, just like sad animal movies. So I'm like, I don't know if I'll play this, but I'll let her play it, and she'll tell me if it's good or not. So
there you go.
That's pretty much what I've been playing. Like I said, I'm planning to just stick down and play, more Crimson Desert. Only other thing is like the Dan and I and Eric, we play Sea of Thieves every Monday, and that's going to be changing when the Diablo expansion comes out. We're all going to dive back into Diablo. We never played the previous expansion.
Oh, okay.
So it was one of those things where we all were kind of like, yeah, I could go back and play more Diablo 4. I feel like I haven't played that much of that game since it came out. So
I feel like the same.
We're going to dive. We're going to dive.
We hit hard.
When you buy the new expansion that's coming out, it gives you everything. So it gives you the previous expansion and anything that they've done in between. I think also when you do it right now, it gives you access to one of the 2 characters, because there's 2 new playable like class types. So one of them is playable now. The other one will be when the expansion comes out. It's the end of this month. So,
okay, yeah, I see that. The Lord of Hatred.
Yeah, so I'm excited to play, because I mean I liked Diablo 4 when it came out. So
yeah, it was fun.
We kind of just played a lot of it in that like first month and a half, and then I was like, I've played a lot of Diablo, I need to go play something else. So it just didn't go back. So
the Warlock.
That'll be the next like major thing that we do. But right now we've just been messing around with Sea of Thieves, and that is a lot of fun until you run into another ship, and like 9 out of 10 times the other ships that you run into are people that this is the only fucking game that they play.
Yeah.
And you get destroyed. So
that makes sense.
When it's just us hanging out, and we're able to like go off and explore different islands and like look at treasure maps, or maybe we stumble into some weird quest line. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So, but it's that immediate mood killer of, oh, look in the distance, a ship's coming in. It's like, oh well, we're fucked. So, that's what we've been playing. What have you been playing?
So I have been playing Arc Raiders. They actually had their most recent update, which actually fixed the game.
That issue. Okay.
Yeah, thank God, because I was like, I really wanted to play the latest update that came out because it looked like it was going to do some really good stuff, and I was right. It helped revamp that game a lot, honestly. I feel like the new mode, the scrutiny, is an interesting one because like, even though you had like the matriarch events and the harvester events where people would kind of come together, people would also still like go against you a lot too. But I feel like in the scrutiny event, every lobby I've gone into, I've ended up linking up with almost, I'd say like 75% of the lobby into like taking out arcs and stuff like that. So it's been really interesting to kind of see it happen. So that's been really good. I played some more Towerborn. I still really enjoy it, so I'm hoping to get kind of more into it. And see, I don't know how long that game is, but I've enjoyed what I've played so far of it. I need to play more of it so I can unlock better like gear and stuff. But that's still a lot of fun. And then I kind of got into Leaf Blower Simulator or Leaf Blower Company.
I bought that too on like they had the spring sale for Steam.
Yeah.
So it was down at a decent price. Because I remember when it came out, people were complaining it needs some patches and stuff, but I feel like it's been patched now.
Yeah, a lot of people. I did the same thing. I paid attention to it, and it was going kind of down, like in reviews. A lot of people were like negatively talking about it. When I looked at it now, it's a bunch of positive ones. So I feel like whatever patches and whatever updates they've done, it's corrected the problem they were experiencing. It's a lot of fun. It literally is what it says it is. You're just blowing leaves into trash cans and collecting them and making money, and you upgrade your equipment. You got a leaf blower, a leaf shredder, you got your rake, you got like a mini blowtorch where you can like either burn all the leaves or you can burn weeds, and that plays in other things. It's just a really chilled simulator game. I think if you like that kind of thing, it's a lot of fun for you. So those are the only things I played. And I didn't even really buy that for myself. I bought it for my wife because she's been seeing a lot of gameplay on it, and she's like, I think I really want that game. And I told her I'd buy it for her when it dropped like on some type of sale, because I was like, I don't think paying full, I think it was like full price is like 22, I think it is where it sits at full price.
Okay.
But like on that sale, I think it dropped to like 11.
11, something like that.
Oh, $19.99. It's $20. But I was like, okay, I don't really want to pay $20 for that, so I'll just hold off and I'll just wait on it. And it dropped to $11, and I was like, you know what? That's probably one of the better prices right now. So let me just go ahead and snag that, and hopefully I can get her to play it and see what she thinks about it. So we'll kind of go from there and see what happens. But yeah, that's really all I've been playing. I've played a couple of rounds of things like Apex and stuff like that, but nothing really too crazy. So that's kind of where simple. And maybe I could talk more about Towerborn the next time we record.
Well, we can kick over to news here. So there isn't a lot of news that I had this time. It's kind of, I feel like quiet. It's kind of the calm before the storm, because we're starting to get close to the E3, not E3 territory. So I feel like, if you think about it, last year this time was when we had the Switch 2 announcement and all that stuff going on, you know. So I feel like this year it just seems like a real rut. A lot of stuff is just very negative. So I'll start off with Crimson Desert has sold 3 million copies, which is for a new IP, that's very impressive. From a I'm not going to say new studio because this is the same studio that did Black Desert. So they've been around, but still impressive. I think the thing that I walk away from that game most impressed with is that this is a game where they built their own engine. It's not running in Unity. It's not running in Unreal 5. It's their own proprietary engine they created.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some jank for sure, but it looks really good and for the most part plays pretty well. So
okay.
Sony dropped another first party studio in their like persistent quest to just drop more studios. So I pulled this article mostly because it has a list of every first party studio that has closed since 2020. So we have Manchester Studio, Japan Studio, Pixel Ops, London Studio, Firewalk Games, Neon Koi, Bluepoint, which was probably the biggest and most devastating one. And then this one was Dark Outlaw Games. The thing about this one that's important to note is that this team, this developer, they never got to actually put out their own game.
Of course not.
So they never even got to put anything else out. The only thing that they really were known for was like helping out with Call of Duty Zombies.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a bummer because they didn't even get to put out the game that they were working on. But
that's crazy.
It's another studio closure. But we can get into the big, I would say probably the biggest article of the week and the biggest bummer, and I did a separate video about it on the channel. I think I posted yesterday, but another price increase for
so ridiculous
this time for the PlayStation 5. Obviously we've had a couple of price increases for the Xbox. This is what I cannot remember. I don't think there has been a Nintendo Switch 2 increase yet. If I remember correctly, they did a increase for the Switch 1.
Yeah.
But I don't think they did for 2. But I have to imagine at this point that is coming soon. Like that would be the next group. But the thing that's important to note, and this is what I pointed out in the video I put out yesterday, is Nintendo scaled back their production of Switch 2 units by 1/3 because the system is not selling as they expected. And the issue I have with this is because they're just not putting out enough for that system specifically. Everything is either, well, it's also on the original Switch, which there's a bajillion of those out there, and you haven't really made the best argument for people to upgrade to a Switch 2.
And it's still wild to me that people are like the increase of the Switch 1. Like, I mean, I get it why, but it's still one of those things, like, it's still just mind-boggling to me that that's what we did.
I find it even worse than, like, I don't like any of the increases. Like, don't get me wrong. Any of the price increases for any of the systems I think is bullshit. But that is the one I take the biggest issue with because it is literally a system that is like 8-9 years old now.
Yeah.
Hardware that's been out there since 2017, and you're going to increase the price. Like,
that's crazy.
That is crazy. As far as PlayStation goes, and I'm just going to go over the North America. It is important to note this increased all over the world. I'm just going to go over the pricing in North America. The regular PS5 is now a $650 system. The digital edition, so this is the version without a disc drive, is $600, and the PlayStation 5 Pro, which I will remind you does not have a disc drive, is now a $900 machine.
That's crazy.
So if you today wanted to go out and say, you know what, I want to get a PS5 Pro, and you're like me, and you have a library of physical games for that system, that's $1,000.
Yeah,
after tax, easily.
So we have to, based off of this,
it's probably closer to 11.
I'm shooting for 13.
Like if you were to go out and buy one today, you mean?
No, I mean the PS6.
Oh, the PS6.
I'm shooting for 1250, 13, man.
Yeah, I just
don't see a spot where we increase the PS5 Pro to $900 now, and then with the disc drive going up to over 1,000. I just don't see a point where the PS6 isn't approaching $1,300.
I don't either, and I think the smartest decision that they could make at this point. And I've said all along, I don't think that the PS6 is a thing that you're going to see until 2029, 2030 at this point. And I think that's a smart decision because I think they're trying to wait and see if the GPU and RAM prices come down. because again, I think they know nobody wants to buy a PS6 at over $1,000. Nobody wants to see it. I also think that Sony's doing that because they want Microsoft to put out their Xbox and watch that fail, because it will.
Yeah.
Microsoft has not been shy to come out and say, and this was even before they, changed leadership and Phil Spencer and them were out. They have not been shy to come out and say, hey, this next Xbox is going to be over $1,000. They have not given an exact price point, but they have not been shy to say this will be an expensive machine. So I do think that there is some part of Sony that is also playing the waiting game. They do have a more expensive and now, in my opinion, a better machine than it was, at least when it launched in the PS5 Pro. I still do think that will be the best way to play GTA 6 if that comes out this fall. But damn, like it is so expensive. I really wish, crazy. I said this in the video I put out too, now I'm kind of kicking myself. I kind of wish I would have built that new computer this time last year, because the RAM prices were starting to go up, but it wasn't like it is today.
Yeah,
they were just starting to inch up, and I was like, oh, wait another year. I didn't think that in a year from now, I saw somebody post the other day at I don't know if it was a Best Buy or a similar type store, the RAM they were looking at was $4,000. And this is just 2 sticks of 16 gigabyte each. Exactly. And that's I'm just wild. What is going on, man?
That is wild.
But it's just they're literally pricing people out of the hobby. And I feel like when it first started, I really truly felt like when it first started, and it was very much a tariff situation. That was the reason. But I feel like now it's almost being done on purpose, continue to go so, because I do think that there is some part of this industry that is really trying to push people towards streaming games.
That's
kind of the theory I've had right now, where it's okay, a lot of people are not going to be able to afford these really expensive machines, but we can get them to get a subscription and stream these games. Because again, that's a big component of Game Pass, but there's also that component to the PlayStation equivalent as well. So, again, getting into conspiracy theory territory a little bit there. But at this point, you have to ask, okay, even with the tariffs in place, the PS5 costs $150 more than it did 6 years ago. This has never happened in any other console generation we've had. It has always been the thing of, okay, you have your early adopters, and then you have people that make the choice of, okay, well, I have this other system now. I'll wait 2 or 3 years. Well, they build a library of games for the new thing.
Yeah.
And the price will come down. And then the people that did that this generation have learned, the prices probably will never come down.
Come down, never. And at this point in time, like I said, you just have to expect it's going to be way more money next year. And then it comes into the gameplay. How much are games going to increase by then? I know we're at the price point now where, what is it, $69.99 is the...
For your standard new release game, it's $70. Even buying a game on Steam, a brand new AAA game, it's $70.
Mind blowing. I just still can't get it.
It's crazy. I mean, at least the good thing that, a lot of people do have access to Steam. A lot of people do have PCs. If you ever look at the hardware surveys that Steam run, it's always people that are running on machines that are not the latest and greatest. And Steam always had, that's the other thing I'll say is, for people that are going to wait and play games when they inevitably go down in price, because that's the other thing I'd say this generation, it kind of started last generation, but it's been more of a thing this generation, is well, yes, we're seeing this console prices continue to increase, and it's really stupid. I would say this generation, we've also seen probably the fastest decrease on game prices from when they release than ever before.
Oh, for sure.
Now it's okay, if I just wait 2 weeks, this game is going to be $20 cheaper. Almost guaranteed every time. Unless it is something like a Claire Obscure situation, where I think now that game has been on sale a few times, but only $10 cheaper. For the most part, everything 2 to 3 weeks later is $20 to $30.
And that's how I feel right now. And especially not even I feel like games nowadays are coming out with patches because they've done something wrong or they needed to fix something, and it's like, why? Like, why is it day one having patches and to correct issues in it? And it just makes me not want to. It definitely makes me more selective. It has made me more selective in the handful of games that I do choose to actually purchase at full price.
Oh yeah,
rather than waiting several months for them to drop in price, or even for them to become available on like the PS5 thing library or on the Game Pass. Like, it's
like you and I have talked about, like Marathon, for example, is a good one where, like, yeah, I'm interested in playing Marathon. It has not sold very well, and I wouldn't be surprised if it within 6 months it's a PlayStation Plus game at this point.
Yeah.
Even though IGN is out there destined to try and get people to buy it by giving it a 9 out of 10. It's not working.
Of course.
It's not working, but I'm still very interested in it. I think that game looks very interesting, but not. I know it would be a mistake to buy it right now.
Like you said, well, I'm in at the price point of 20 and anything under 20. But
yeah, for that game,
right now.
Like Dan and I do the same thing where it's always like we always have a price point in our head of like, okay, what would I pay for this? Like, I'm waiting for Outer Worlds 2. It's getting close. It was at $41. I'm waiting for $35. So, but it's already like that game was out last fall, and this first spring sale that we just had on the PSN, it's already down to $41. So it's just fast. So that is I would say that is the flip side positive of this generation is like, yeah, we're seeing these increases all the time for these systems, but the games have never come down in price quicker than they are right now. All across the board, except Nintendo, but Nintendo is Nintendo. But like my best friend, for example, he borrowed my regular PS5 last summer to play Death Stranding 2 because he has not upgraded to a PS5. He bought a Series X like I did at launch. I bought both systems at launch because I'm a crazy person. I will never do that again, by the way. But he bought a Series X, and then the other day he's like, well, I guess I'm probably never going to buy a PS5 now. Because like he was getting really close to the point of like, well, maybe I'll buy one, but now it's like, no, I'm not at these prices. So it's just a bummer. And like like I said, it just paints a real doom and gloom picture for whatever the next generation is going to be.
Oh, for sure.
Like I said, unless there's some sort of significant decrease in RAM and GPU prices, I cannot imagine either of those systems coming out under $1,000.
I can't.
Even though you'll go on the forums and you'll see the PlayStation people be like, well, they're working on this algorithm to decrease the game install sizes, so you only need a terabyte drive. I'm like, changing the SSD from 2 terabyte to 1 terabyte is not going to bring down the console price by $500. It's just not. So
no way. I
don't know. Well, it's a wash right now. So it's become a real bummer every time I see one of those articles pop up, because again, and also at first, like when Microsoft would come out and say it, it really felt like on their side of things, they were just trying to sabotage shit so they can, whatever we want. And I really feel like they want to get out of this generation and put something new out.
Yeah,
because they want to wash the Series X generation down the drain and they want to move away from it. But we'll see. As I said before, we're getting into the season of E3. Like, we're going to start hearing the E3, not E3 news and stuff. Microsoft has announced when they're going to have their showcase, which they do their showcase every year in June. They're doing their showcase this year, Sunday, June 7th. The most important thing to note is that every year for the last couple of years, they've had a developer direct thing immediately after on like whatever they consider the big game for the year for them, which this year it is Gears E-Day. So they're going to have a big dive on that. I mean, I fully expect that game to be out this fall. This fall will be the 20th anniversary of Gears of War. So, and they're already going hard this year with the 25th anniversary of the Xbox. They're putting out, Halo Combat, what is it, Re-Evolved? I call it Combat Re-Evolved, who cares? But
yeah,
I'll still play it. They're putting that out this year. They're going to have this. They're going to have Fable. So the sad part is, like, for as much shit luck that they've had this generation, for as many stupid decisions as they've made, they're really set up to have a potentially decent year of games come out this year between Fable. If all of these games hit between Fable, this Halo, whatever, Gears, which the little bit they've shown of Gears looks promising. And I think people like to forget too, for Forza Horizon 6 out in May. So that is going to look pretty good as well. So
and that always brings in a good crowd of people.
I really wish if Forza Horizon 6 was out the same day on PS5, I would probably get it. Because I really I dived in. I'm not a racing fan person, but I dived in with 3. And then I played the shit out of 3, 4, and 5. So, and again, I'm not a racing person. If you asked me to play a regular Forza game, I would never play. So, but yeah, June 7th will be their big showcase. I assume at some point in the next month, Sony will announce something roughly around the same time. I didn't put this in the news, but I guess I'll bring it up because it's rumor and speculation. But there supposedly will be a Nintendo Direct this month at some point. And this, I will say, this rumor and speculation was prior to April Fool's Day. So, but the rumors right now is that there is a new Star Fox game that will be out this year.
Okay.
And that the big fall title is a remake of Ocarina of Time. Now, is that going to happen?
We'll never know.
I will tell you 100% if a remake of Ocarina of Time happens, I will clear anything off my schedule to play that. Because that's one of my favorite games of all time. And I would love to see a remake of it, but I don't want it to be a reskin over Breath of the Wild. Like, I wanted to maintain the core of what made Ocarina of Time a great game. So I really want to see if that is a real thing. I want to see what it is. Like,
I mean, that could make sense. Yeah.
What Nintendo's idea of a remake on that scale would be. So,
yeah.
And a new Star Fox, what would a new Star Fox game be? So,
I mean,
it's been a decade.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute.
The reason why I feel like that could be true is because I have not seen the Mario movie yet, but everybody knows that he's in the movie.
Yeah.
He's voiced by Glenn Powell. So I would think that there seems like there could be some truth to the idea of, okay, well, we stuck him in this movie. We could totally put out a new Star Fox. And at least there's now a generation of kids because that movie, like, I think they're predicting 200 million. That movie's going to open this weekend. It's going to crush that. But there's going to be a generation of kids that go and see that movie, and they're now going to know who Star Fox is. So that could set that game up to potentially be a big success. So I didn't put it in the news because it's more rumor and speculation, but I tend to believe that probably is true. So we'll see. Maybe, hopefully by the next time we're recording, they've announced that they're having some sort of Nintendo Direct. So
yeah,
it's time. They need to do something.
You are right, though. Star Fox Zero came out in 2016. That was technically the last one. Yeah.
And that was the Wii U, right?
Yep.
Because I think you had to control it weird with the Wii U pad or something. I don't know. There was a reason why people didn't like it. So,
yeah, for sure.
I don't think I played it. I feel like I watched somebody play it. I was like, that doesn't seem great.
I feel like I've seen it on like video game stores I've gone into, and I've told myself maybe I should snag that just to see what it's like, but I never do.
To be fair, the Wii U for me was a Mario Kart 8 machine, and I demolished Mario Kart 8 for months on end. But then the only other thing I really put a lot of time into was the first Mario Maker. Everything else that came out for this, again, there were a lot of great games. Most of those ended up getting ported to the Switch anyways. So
yeah,
the ones that mattered, I feel like. So
wow.
I put this in here because I thought it was interesting. The Last of Us multiplayer game, that Factions game that they were working on, was 80% done when it was canceled. So that game was almost near completion. But remember, historically, that was the game that when Bungie was brought into Sony, they went to Naughty Dog and watched that game and said they did not think that it was worth continuing. So very interesting when you look back on it. Like, I mean,
not shocked. Listen, I know you weren't a big fan of the second one, but I really enjoyed both in a way. Like, I really appreciated both of those games.
I played the multiplayer in the first one.
I don't see how multiplayer was like going to be beneficial for this.
I don't think putting out a multiplayer only Last of Us game would be a good idea. If you wanted to, again, the first game had a multiplayer mode and it was pretty solid. but that was attached to the first game.
Mm-hmm.
Putting it out separately, I don't know. I look at that the same way that I look at this Horizon thing that's going to come out, which I'm sure we'll try. I don't think that's going to be successful because that's not what people want out of that franchise.
Yeah, I can kind of see that too. That makes sense.
So, I put this in here because I love State of Decay.
You got
2.
hopes and dreams? Is that what it is?
I absolutely love State of Decay 2, and it did start out that way. That game, I don't know if I've said on the podcast, but when that game came out, it had the worst implementation of motion blur I've ever seen in a video game. It made me sick. And it was the kind of thing where when it came out, I started playing it. I could not play it because it was making me sick. And I was telling my buddy, he didn't believe me. So I went over to his house and showed him. It's like, you need to see that. It was so when that game first came out, we could not get into it, didn't play it. And within a year, they did a bunch of patches for that game, fixed a lot of the issues, became one of my favorite games of that generation. It's an incredible game. So I have a lot of there's a lot where I look at I really would like a State of Decay 3, but it's been 7 years since they fucking announced State of Decay 3. So for them to come out randomly today, and this is a fresh news article from today, to say that they're going to just now do an alpha playtest for this game, what does that put that at 2028 for this game at this point?
I would say it has to be, right?
It has to be 2028. It is wild to me. That here we
first
are.
playtest to begin in May of 2020. It has to, I guess I just think by that time, is it going to be worth it?
Right? I don't know.
I just don't feel like it's worth it anymore. I get the idea behind putting out some type of content to get people's piqued interest, but in a generation where TikTok videos and YouTube shorts and reels and Instagram reels where the video
just do your marketing for you,
where in the video is anything over a minute and a lot of people lose their concentration. I don't see where you think releasing any type of teaser for a game that doesn't come out within the year makes you think that people are really going to hang on to hope that they're actually going to be excited to play it when it does drop, because that's I just don't see it anymore. You know what I mean? It just doesn't strike me as anything.
It's been a long time. It's funny because I have a lot of YouTube channels I'm subscribed to, but there's one I'm subscribed to that specifically is just updates for State of Decay. And that channel has been a fucking ghost town for a year and a half. Immediately I saw this and I was like, I wonder, and I went on YouTube, immediately popped up, we got news on State of Decay 3. I'm like, that dude was overjoyed to finally make a new video about State of Decay 3.
I bet he's been chomping at the bits waiting for that too.
I've played I liked the concept of the original, but it was I want to say that game came out to the Xbox Live Arcade August of 2013, so it was right before the next generation of consoles. So it was one of those games where it was it really should have been held for the next console generation because the 360 kind of couldn't handle a lot of the concepts. And I did play quite a bit of the original, but was always a sequel could probably do this better. Yeah, and they put a lot of patchwork and a lot of stuff into State of Decay 2 that made that just a truly, truly great game. I've done probably hundreds of hours into it. So great co-op game.
Yeah.
So, I would like a State of Decay 3 to be good, but man, I saw this today and I was on one hand, I'm hey, I'm glad we're getting some news on the game, but on the other hand, this seems like a 2028 game now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our last news article, I think, is just a fun one. Also from today, and it's about obviously Jack Black loves Red Dead Redemption, specifically Red Dead Redemption 2. I think there was a Tenacious D song they wrote about Red Dead Redemption at one point.
I can believe that.
He loves Red Dead Redemption. He's been campaigning for years. He'd love to be in a Red Dead Redemption movie, but that's probably never going to happen. Rockstar's not interested in that. No. So he has now pitched an idea where he wants to be a specific character in Red Dead 3, but it's actually a historical character named Jack Black from the 1920s, who was a professional burglar, safecracker, and hobo operating in the early 20th century American West in Canada. Jack Black wants to play this character in the game, and I think it's a great I read this article because at first I saw it was an IGN article and I was this seems like a clickbait thing, but as I read into it and saw the interview, because I think he was on the Tonight Show or something, I was like, you know what? This is actually a really fucking crazy good idea. They should do it. Let them do it. So I put it, it's just more of a fun thing. So, but let them do it, dude. I mean, again, we're not going to see a Red Dead 3 till like 2032 at this point.
Yeah, I mean, why not put him in it if he's trying to actually
GTA 6 out, man.
Yeah. I don't know when that's going to be.
I hope it's this fall. I'd love to finally play it. And ironically, it comes out the week before Thanksgiving, and I'm off the week of Thanksgiving. So that lines up perfectly for me. So please keep that date. We kick over really quick to game recommendations. And then actually, I forgot I'll do it now, but I have some pickup stuff, but it's not games, and it'll lead into the movie section. So
there you go.
But my game recommendation for the week, I've been rewatching Twin Peaks. And so I'm recommending Deadly Premonition, which is basically Twin Peaks, the video game. For anybody that's ever played it, I will preference that Deadly Premonition is a janky ass video game and could possibly be the jankiest video game you'll ever play. But if you give it a chance and stick with the story and you like Twin Peaks, you will fall in love with that game. So there is a sequel. I really need to play the sequel. I did buy it when it came out, but I never got around to playing it. I do have it on. I know Steam's the best way to play it. So at some point I'll play it on PC, but that first game, tremendous. Highly recommended. What about you?
Well, real quick. So I was looking up Deadly Premonition because I was like, you know, let me see what it's
looks like a
for.
Dreamcast game.
Right now it's $24.99, not a bad price. And I did see where there's a Deadly Premonition 2, so I was about to look at that. And when I clicked on the search bar, a game came across my feed. I just had to talk about this real quick. This game is called I Am Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And apparently you play as Jesus in this game.
You play as Jesus and you perform his miracles. So that game has been on my Steam wishlist since 2013. Kind of a running joke between me and my buddy because it's a real game that I think they turned it into a VR thing now. Like this game has been in development so long that it predates common VR today.
That is insane.
So at some point during its development, this game was like, they finally were like, we can make this a VR game, but it is finally out. I don't know. I never looked at the Steam reviews to see if it's any good or not because I think it just released the other day.
Right now, it's sitting at a very positive 251 reviews.
Okay.
So I just downloaded the demo, and I will talk about it the next time.
I look forward to hearing about it because I am aware that it's out this week, and
that is crazy.
Kind of want to see.
Oh my gosh! I'm gonna download it now while we're just talking about it.
It's been a joke between me and my buddy for like fucking 13 years now because I'm like, is that game ever gonna come out?
That is crazy. Okay. My game recommendation: Leaf Blower. I think it's a really fun game. It's kind of nice. I'd say the music on it is pretty basic, but it's actually really calming too. Okay. It's just been really fun to go through and blow some leaves around and burn some weeds and just kind of just put up. I will say there's one part in the game where I had to help Amazon get packages back into their truck, so that was an interesting little thing.
Like as a leaf blower?
Yeah, like there were the truck I guess the gate popped open and all their packages went off. So they, as part of it, you just take your leaf blower and you start blowing them back into the back of the truck. And I'm like, oh, okay, why not? That makes sense. Yeah, let's just do this. But yeah, it's a lot of fun so far, and I'm really hoping the reason I bought it, my wife gets into it because she's been really talking to me about it. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, that's my recommendation. So we can go into it.
We'll kick over to movies and stuff. Before we started, I actually have interesting movie pickups. So I've been wanting to get back into. Try not to do this in a crazy way, because it's a space, it involves having the space for it. But
yeah, it does.
I am starting to get back into collecting VHS tapes. My wife regularly goes and checks things out at the Goodwill and some of the resale shops and goes thrifting and stuff and has a lot of fun with that. And she graciously sent me photos and picked up some good ones for me here. So I'll leave this one last, but so I got A Few Good Men, These were all $1, by the way. I do have the original Raiders on VHS. I need to grab it. It's either in my attic or at my parents' house. But I got Last Crusade. I need Temple of Doom.
There you go.
I got the original Austin Powers.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
Got the original Jurassic Park. One of my all-time favorite movies as a kid. I know I have this taped on a VHS. I don't think I ever actually owned the real VHS. I do have the Blu-ray. I feel like this is a movie where if they do ever make a 4K, it's going to be too far. Like if you've ever watched the Back to the Future 4K, it's too far. Where you can see all the makeup lines on all the characters and stuff. It's too high definition where it's like we need to scale it back. But
that makes
Dick
sense.
Tracy.
There you go.
Love Dick Tracy. Seen this movie a million times. Happy to own that. And then the last one is more of a sentimental thing. My parents used to go see movies when I was a kid. They'd go on dates and I'd have like a babysitter or something. For whatever reason, this is the only movie I ever remembered the exact title that they went and saw. And it's because it's got my dad's favorite actor in it, my favorite actor in it, Michael Keaton, and that is The Paper. Which is a great comedy. So the only other thing I got, and we'll talk about it a little bit when we're talking about movies and stuff, but as I am going through Twin Peaks, I'm going to be done with it probably mid-April. I'm on the return right now. But I've been really enjoying this, like watching one episode a day. Mm-hmm. It's really helpful for that show because that show, there's so much that happens in one episode.
That makes sense.
I wanted to continue that journey. And I'm like, I really like doing this one a day thing. It's very therapeutic. But I'm like, what show could I like? What could I do? What have I not watched in a while? And then it hit me, even though I have all of this on the server, I wanted to own it physically because it is something that also a series that I love. I have not seen in probably 15 years since whenever they originally put it on Netflix.
Yeah.
But I have the box set.
That's wild.
Of Murder, She Wrote. This is wild. 62 discs. It has all the seasons. I believe there's 12 seasons and the 4 movies. So this was a wild, like, let's just say our work bonus really helped for that. So I was just like one day, like after I was like, I wonder, it happened to be in stock. It's not always in stock either. So, yeah. But I was like, you know what? I didn't even know they made a Blu-ray. I just assumed it was all just regular DVD. And then it popped up and I was like, all right, let's do it. So when I finish Twin Peaks, that'll be my next one a day journey. And that's going to take forever.
Yeah, that is.
But I look forward to it. So, movies and TV. So I guess the big thing I'll save one movie at the end because you and I both saw it. So we can talk about it together. The primary thing that I want to talk about, and I don't know have you watched the trailers I mentioned in here? Supergirl, He-Man, or Backrooms? Okay.
Yep.
We can talk about those. I'll start with Supergirl. So I've been pretty vocal on here about how I feel about Supergirl so far, because I already had the issue of like making her a drunkard. We're just gonna call it what it is. And just to elaborate on that quickly, like the reason I have that and the reason I have that nitpick is I look at it when you take a step back and you look at superhero movies as a whole. Like there's 1,000 superhero movies, right? But there's not many female-led superhero movies. You have Wonder Woman, you have Captain Marvel, and you have Black Widow. Those are the ones that I could think of today.
Yeah.
Only one of those I consider a good movie. And it's Wonder Woman. I don't consider I don't like Captain Marvel, and I do not like, I think we can agree Black Widow's not a good movie. I don't think she's a bad character, but her movie was bad. But Wonder Woman, specifically talking about the 2017 Wonder Woman, because the sequel is not very good, but that original one was a good movie. And I look at that movie and go, okay, there's not a lot of female-led superhero movies, so it's cool that we're going to do Supergirl and have a superhero movie that young women can look up to. So that's why I look at it. I'm like, okay, there's not been a lot of these, and then the first thing we're going to do is turn her into a drunk.
Yeah.
So that was why I had the issue with that. And then they put out this first trailer, and that issue stems all the way back from her little cameo at the end of Superman. That was one of the few like parts of the movies like I didn't care for that.
Yeah.
Then they put out the trailer in December, and my thoughts on that were like, this just looks like Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, I'm sure it'll be okay, but like, we've already done this before. So they dropped a new trailer for it, and now they're hitting me with the gut punch of, this is going to be a sad dog movie. Like, they're not hiding what the plot of this movie is.
Not
This
at all.
is the whatever the villain is shows up, does something to the dog where the dog's going to die within 3 days if she doesn't find a cure for whatever this, shot or disease is. It's going to be a sad dog movie. So now I have to go begrudgingly. I'm going to go to this movie knowing all of these things. And I don't know if it can rise for me at that point. Cause I'm like, man, cause I don't do sad dog movies. Or sad animal movies. Well, just in general, I do not handle those well. So I avoid those movies like the plague. So to see them go that route, I'm like, oh man, like really? So,
Yeah.
We'll see. I will say, with all that being said, this was a better trailer for this movie. It does not feel like a Guardians of the Galaxy clone now. It feels like it's doing something more.
I think so. Looking at the trailer for this one, I can kind of see where her drinking stems from, like where her anger essentially sits, and why she's like the way she is. Well, essentially, why she got introduced the way she did. So, for me, I'm actually, I think,
I'll
more
be
interested in
okay
this one. Yeah,
I think I'll be more okay with it if that is just kind of a linchpin in this movie.
yeah.
And she gets over it by the end and becomes the heroic, like, Supergirl that you want to see.
And I feel like she will be. I really do. So I'm really hoping that it kind of goes the way I'm thinking. I honestly, we'll see what happens. I don't think I'll watch it when it goes to theaters, just because I don't really think anybody in my house really cares about it.
I mean, you also have to play the game now of like, is this really going to be in theaters that long, or is it just going to be up in 2 weeks?
So we'll see what happens. I like I said though, I am interested in watching it. I do really want to watch it.
I think the actress they picked is going to be good as Supergirl.
Yeah,
like
for
she's
sure.
a good actress. I'll also tell you, like, there's no way they're going to kill Crypto. Like, no, they knew what they had with that dog in Superman, and they wanted to continue that. And there's no way they're going to go in the second DCU movie. Oh, well, he's dead now. Like, they're not going to do that. So,
no, I agree.
Because that would be ridiculous. He-Man. Let's talk about He-Man. My one and only question about He-Man, and if this angers somebody out there, I'm sorry. Who in 2026 gives any fuck about He-Man at this point? That's my issue with this. And I've seen both trailers now, but I'm watching the trailer, and it reminds me of the Warcraft movie. If the Warcraft movie was thrown and generated in AI, like, that's what the movie feels like when I watch the trailer. But I asked myself, and I've asked myself since this trailer came out earlier this week, who is this for in 2026? Kids right now, they're not hanging around the playground talking about He-Man. They're talking about Pokemon. So then is it for, 40, 45-year-old men? But
yes,
even the people that grew up in that era, I don't know anybody that is that fond of He-Man. Like, they're fond of Transformers. They're fond of TMNT. They're fond of Batman. That stuff. I don't see anybody talking about He-Man. So I just look at this movie and I go, this is probably going to be one of the biggest bombs of the year. I don't think it's going to have the audience that they're expecting.
Kind of agree with you. Like, I was a He-Man kid, not like super big, but I really liked the story of He-Man, and I thought it was really cool. I don't
dislike He-Man. Like, I'll say that. I don't dislike He-Man, but
like,
I just
if I picked a cartoon from that genre, like from that time when I was a kid, He-Man was not on my list of cartoons that I felt like I had to watch. So, like, for me, I do want to watch it because it does hold, see it too, but it does hold something. Mm-hmm. But it's all, like you said, it also is one of those things where it's like, not a lot of people are into it. I don't think it's going to be up very long.
No.
I do like the way they presented Skeletor in other trailer.
He looks good. You would never know that it's Jared Leto,
and I'm okay with that.
And that's a good thing. That's not a bad thing.
That's a good thing.
It's a good thing.
So I'm really, like I said, I think I am interested. I do want to see it, and I will definitely watch it when it comes out.
I was just looking really quick to try and see if they put how much money it cost to make this movie, but I don't think they've revealed that yet. I'm so curious. I should also preface, the movie is just called Masters of the Universe, so it is not called He-Man. But I mean, obviously, that was what the cartoon was called, He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. But yeah, like, I just gives me the Warcraft movie vibes. But like, you would have thought Warcraft would have done well because that was popular at that time, and it just didn't.
Yeah, it did.
I don't know, but the third trailer on here, and this was probably for me the best of these three, would be the Backrooms, which I think looks pretty good.
I thought it was interesting.
It seems like they're definitely going for, like, because didn't that begin as a creepypasta, or I thought that started as a creepypasta thing, and then it turned into kind of its own thing. Obviously there are games, there are flash games, there's all sorts of things about it.
Yeah.
But it looks good. Like, A24 has 3 horror movies coming out in May. They have that Hokum movie with Adam Scott, which looks great.
Looks
they
very
have
interesting.
that I don't know if you've seen the trailer for that Obsession movie.
Yeah, I do. I really like
good.
that one. Yeah.
That looks good too. So they have May is a horror month for A24, and all these movies look good. Like, they're worth watching.
So Backrooms started on a 4chan thread.
4chan. Okay.
Yeah.
Essentially a creepypasta.
Yeah.
It looks good. Like, I like, for what it is, for what the trailer is, they have some pretty competent actors too in it. I think it looks good. Of those 3 movies, that was the one where I was like, I maybe would go see that. So of the 3, I think that was the most positive trailer I came out of this week, of the big 3, because it seemed like they dropped all 3 of these like within succession of each other.
Yeah, I really feel like
still waiting for an Evil Dead Burns trailer. I hope they put that out.
Hopefully,
that movie's out in July.
My good lord.
I put this in here because it does relate to movies and TV, but like Netflix raising the damn ass prices again. I told my wife, because like I've only used Netflix this year to watch the Ben Affleck movie that came out a couple months ago. It's the only thing. Like, we haven't even finished Stranger Things. We watched the first half and we haven't gone back. And I told her the other day, I was like, if we this month just sat down and cranked out the end of Stranger Things, would you care if I canceled Netflix? And she's like, no, because she doesn't use it at all, and I've barely used it. And it is now $27 a month.
Yeah.
For, again, important to note, that's for the 4K, big tier plan. But I think even the basic like 1080p plan is almost $20. I think it is $20 now.
I believe so.
Yeah. It is the least used streaming service I have, which is crazy, but it is. Sometimes they're getting too greedy. I don't think this is as egregious as the Amazon stuff.
No.
The Amazon shit, like Amazon pulling features out of Prime and then making you pay for them separately, is the scummiest of the scum. Like, what they're doing with the ads versus now. So they took they added ads and then said, oh well, you got to pay to not have ads now, which should just be included in your Prime membership. But whatever,
right.
They're being dumb about it, right? And I noticed between Fallout season 1 and 2, they now filmed their original shows to actually have cut moments where you would put in an advertisement. It's ridiculous, because when you don't, because I in order to crank through some of these shows, like we've just watched Fallout. The Boys is going to start this next week, so I'll be watching that. There's one other thing we'll watch, and then I'll cut that ad free off, because the ads, I don't know if you've seen it with, like, the ads are the worst on Amazon.
Yeah,
they're worse than Tubi, and Tubi's a free service. I get it, but they now then recently, so it was $2.99 a month for the ad free. They've now increased that to $4.99 and cut out 4K streaming and locked that behind that $4.99. So it's just scummy. But the Netflix stuff, it's just disappointing. To me, Netflix going above $25 a month is my breaking point, like Game Pass hitting $30 a month. Like, it's too much money for me. I don't use it that much, so That's why for me it was a cut thing. I've started Daredevil. Oh, go ahead.
I will keep it, unfortunately, for a little bit longer because it is the only streaming service I pay for right now. Out of everything, I've dropped every other streaming service. So, like, the only reason I've kept it is because my kids really utilize Netflix a lot.
Yeah.
And even out of, like, Disney and Hulu and all of that stuff, my kids watch Netflix the most. And I think that's going to be the one that I'm going to have a hard time dropping off because, like, my son even told me the other day, because I was talking about getting rid of it, and he's like, Dad, you can't get rid of Netflix. And I was like, why? And he's like, because how am I going to find new stuff to watch? Like, yeah, I just can't, you know what I mean? And I was like, yeah, you may be right. And so, like, it may go one of those things where I maybe drop, because right now I'm sitting on the premium. I may drop to standard. That way I'm not paying as much for it.
Yeah.
And that way my kids can primarily watch it, because I watch, unfortunately, I've gotten on this freaking Facebook reel video of border security. And now that's literally all I've been watching. And the crazy thing about it, this show is like 2 or 3 years old. Like, I'm watching clips from like 2 or 3 years ago. And it's just been hella interesting to see these people get pulled over and like get all their bags searched and shit like that. So I'm like, that's what I spend a majority of my time watching. So it's like, I'm not even paying attention to it. So yeah, I might drop it low, but it's the only one I pay for, to be honest with you. And
the only reason I have Paramount is because they did that deal last September where it was like half price to do a year of the ad free. So I did that. I don't know if I don't think I will keep that when it is up in September, because the only thing we really watch on that right now, unless South Park comes back, because we watch South Park. But if we're watching America's Culinary Cup right now, which is actually very good for one of those cooking shows, but that's kind of it. We plowed through the new season of Bar Rescue on there, but that one we pay for. I do not pay for Peacock anymore. We just have the, like, Xfinity gives you a code for the they call it premium, but it's the ad version. I only use Peacock to watch Top Chef, and that's background. It's the one show, and the ads are not egregious enough that it's a big deal. So that's perfectly fine. The only other thing that we pay for outside, I pay for YouTube Premium, because that is the number one streaming service I use, unless you want to count like Spotify for music. But we do that bundle plan for Hulu, HBO, and Disney, which is like the ad one is like $32 a month, which is, to be fair, a good value. And we use HBO. I would say Hulu and HBO are the things we use the most. Disney. The only reason I'm using Disney right now is for Daredevil. So
I was about to say,
Daredevil. Yeah. So to kick over to Daredevil, like I've only watched the first episode. I know they put out 2 this week. We've had stuff going on, so we'll probably watch them this weekend. But it's a good return for that show. So. Nice. They're going to end this season with that one-off one-shot that John Bernthal directed himself for The Punisher, and that story I think is going to lead into why he's in Spider-Man. So
that makes sense.
That'll be pretty cool. The only other thing I've been watching, I've been rewatching Twin Peaks, as I've said before. I am on the return season, which that return season that of that show is probably my all-time favorite TV thing of anything.
Okay.
So it's still tremendous today. But over the weekend, because I got through seasons 1 and 2, and then there's the movie, which is Fire Walk with Me, and then there's this other thing they put out in 2014. The one thing I've actually never watched, it's called The Missing Pieces.
Okay.
It's just deleted scenes from Fire Walk with Me. They're not edited in a way where it's like it's an hour and a half of footage, but it's not edited in a way where it's like you're watching a movie. It's literally like watching deleted scenes off of a Blu-ray.
Okay.
You can see why some of the scenes were deleted, and it's interesting now to go back because some of the footage that was deleted was reused in this last season of Twin Peaks. So that's kind of interesting. Fire Walk with Me is an incredible, and like I've only seen it once, and this was years ago. So I haven't seen that movie since. It is a movie where, like, if you are not a Twin Peaks fan, if you didn't watch the original show, I don't think you would get anything out of the fucking movie.
That makes sense.
It is one of the most fucked up movies you'll ever see. And because like it makes me laugh now, but I also question, like, when I see people talk about David Lynch movies and they're like, oh, Fire Walk with Me is my favorite. I'm like, are you sure, man? Like, it is so fucking dark. What the stuff that I'm not going to talk about what happens in the movie, but it's one of those, like, if you know the basic premise of Twin Peaks and you know what the gist of the twist with Laura Palmer is and what happened to that character, the movie is literally what happened to her played out. So it's like the last 7 days of her life leading up to what happens to her.
Okay.
Which is very dark and very disturbing. So, and it's done in a very horrific way where it is uncomfortable, even to this day. That the end scene of that movie, where when the act of what happens is uncomfortable. There's also one other scene in that movie, and it is very much something that is brought up in The Return when they are in, like, and I'm talking loosely around it, but like when they're in like a version of the Black Lodge, when they're above what they call this convenience store, edited in a very creepy, weird way. It is really off-putting. Okay. So what I love about the Return season, and I will say, like, I had a hard time with this the first time I watched it, because immediately when they announced that and like, hey, the show's coming back, what does everybody want to see? Everybody wants to see Agent Cooper. And the problem is, with the way that original show ended and the way the new season is he's stuck in the Black Lodge, and a doppelganger version of him escapes. He's a bad guy. So his bad guy doppelganger has been running around doing bad shit for 25 years. He's been locked in the Black Lodge.
Oh, damn.
His way of coming out of it, when he gets to escape it, essentially in a way that doesn't allow him to go back into that body. Instead, he manifests in this other guy's body. And he has to play this character for like 12 of these 18 episodes. Dang. Basically as a child invalid who can't do anything. But it leads to like insanely great comedic moments, and like it is, you still see the essence of that character as generally someone who's doing good and has good things go on around him, but they just happen in very stupid and comedic ways. And now that I go back and watch, because the first time I watched through the show, that was my biggest complaint, was like, man, I just wanted to get to the point where he snaps out of this and he's the Agent Cooper that you want to see. And you only get that for one episode. And then they do like, it's weird. Like, I'm not going to get into how that show ends, because that could be a 5-hour podcast on its own, but it really could. It is. There's so many theories on that show, but now rewatching it and seeing all of that stuff, I appreciate the humorous aspect of it before, because if it did not have that, it's a very fucking dark show with a lot of really weird and dark shit that happens. Yeah. And it wouldn't balance it out very well. So I have a better appreciation rewatching. It's also a fantastic Blu-ray. So I'm on episode 5, I think will be the one I watch tomorrow. So I'm almost halfway through.
Not bad.
But it's a fantastic rewatch before I get to, Murder, She Wrote here. So the last thing, and you watched it too, that we watched, the movie I've been waiting to see, feels like they took forever to bring this out on digital. Yeah. Because I think it did really well in the theater, is Sam Raimi's latest movie, Send Help, his return to making horror movies after, I think I read it was like 25 years. Unless you want to count the Doctor Strange movie, or no, 15 years, because he did Drag Me to Hell, which is a good movie. Oh, yeah. But that's a good movie. I saw that in theater twice. He did that Doctor Strange movie, but I don't really call that a Sam Raimi movie. So, Send Help. I thoroughly enjoyed it. When I started it, it got a little cringy for me with Rachel McAdams' character. And at first, as they were going through, I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to like this, because it's really cringy with how her character is, but also how these people treat her in the office. But that is important to see, and is the whole basis for the movie. And what I like about it, and I guess maybe a mild spoiler for the movie, is that when you get to the end of this movie, and I'm not going to spoil how it ends or anything, but there is no like truly good person in this movie. It is basically two people that are not good people, but one is, I would say, is better than the other person. So, but it's also one of those kind of movies, like if you've ever had a boss that you absolutely think is a piece of garbage, you will enjoy this movie.
Oh God, yeah. Once she
you
like
will find some of those scenes are very satisfying.
Yeah. After the beginning and once they get onto the island, I was like, oh yeah, he deserves everything that happens to him. For sure.
Especially with like when the plane is going down, his reactions to like other people that are trying, they're trying to hold on, and he's just like, fuck it, no, and whatever, and they fly out of the plane and shit like that. Like you have an even stronger dislike for this character.
Yep,
so
for sure.
I think Rachel McAdams is fantastic in this
movie. She did a really good job.
Probably the best. Again, I'm not going to spoil the end of the movie, but I love how it ended too.
Yeah.
I like
it was very good.
It wasn't really a twist, but I liked how it wrapped up and ended and put her in a better place. So probably the best way I can describe it without spoiling it. But I think they both of those actors play well off each other in kind of a castaway situation. It's definitely more psychological. There are a couple scenes that are kind of gory in a Sam Raimi way. Definitely, like, that Sam Raimi likes to have eyeballs popping out. There's definitely some of that here.
Definitely.
So if you're uncomfortable with stuff happening in the eye socket, maybe look away.
Yeah.
When that happens. There's a good sequence when she's chasing that boar on the island that is literally just taken out of Evil Dead with the way the camera moves. It's fantastic. I don't know if you noticed in one of the opening shots of the movie when she's walking in the parking garage, the fucking Evil Dead car's there. Because he has to put that car in every one of his movies. And then they do show briefly, because basically the setup for the movie is like she was promised a promotion at her work, and the boss of the company died.
Yeah,
his son is taking over.
Piece of shit.
He's not in the movie, but they show a photo of the dad, and it's just fucking Bruce Campbell.
Yep.
I thought that was great too. It's like he doesn't have a role in the movie. He doesn't have any speaking, but he was just literally the father, and I thought that was great. Overall, fantastic. One of his best movies, easily. So
agreed. I really enjoyed it.
Highly
too.
recommended. I hope he does more. I hope he goes back to doing more horror movies. I know he and Bruce Campbell do a lot of like producing behind the scenes. I know they're very heavy in like picking the directors to do these new iterations of Evil Dead. They picked the guy that did Evil Dead Rise a couple years ago. It's the guy that's got that new Mummy movie coming out in a couple weeks.
Yep.
It looks crazy. I would like to see that. That looks creepy as hell.
It looks good.
But it was nice to see him return to so I would say it's somewhat of a horror movie. It's more psychological. It's not really a gore fest, but
yeah, not at all.
A couple of scenes that are a little gory.
Yeah.
Great. Overall, great. I absolutely enjoyed it. What about you, Matt? What else have you watched?
So I did watch the secondary version of No One Would Tell. That's the one.
What year is this one from?
Oh, I think it's actually 20.
It's obviously more recent.
Yeah, this one came out. Hold on, now I'm trying to verify. 2018.
Okay.
So, watching the original 96 and then watching the 2018 one, I thought my concern was because Shannon Doherty is on the poster of this movie. Okay. I thought it was going to be more centered around her, as she was like the big name back then,
Yeah.
Ironically, no, not at all. She plays like a mother role, like in this one. I will say the one thing I did enjoy about this one is that the relationship between the two main characters got heated really quick and caused a lot of aggression in between the two of them. Doherty's mom isn't in an abusive relationship per se, So like that aspect is taken out. So, because my biggest problem with the original was that Candace Cameron's character, Stacy, saw her mom going through these abusive relationships, but then continued to stay in her abusive relationship. And that always kind of, when I watched it, I was kind of like, why though? If you're literally yelling at your mom because she's in an abusive relationship and you're just okay with being in an abusive relationship, you can't do that. But in this one, the mom wasn't really in an abusive relationship and the daughter was. So there was a little difference between the two, which I really enjoyed. I liked the guy in this second one because he's a complete douche. Like
the guy that's playing the abusive boyfriend.
Yeah, he's a complete douche and he plays it really well.
I guess this would be considered somewhat of a spoiler, but like, is the death in the same fashion? Because like that was the shocker at the end of the movie. Like I didn't know anything. I'm sure I saw the movie when it came out, back when it came out, because it was definitely one of those like PSA movies that they would have played in school.
Yeah, for sure.
But I was not expecting at the end of that movie for him to just straight up slit her throat and kill her. Is that the same in this movie, or is it different?
So he doesn't slit her throat.
Okay.
But he does kill her. Okay. Essentially what he does is he chokes her. He chokes her out. Like, so like he because he's a wrestler, he puts her in a sleeper hold.
Yeah, that's a big plot point of the original too. Is like he was on the wrestling team in high school. So. And
he essentially kills her by choking her out.
Does he still drown? Does he still like hide her body in the lake or whatever?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was at the same time. That was the only kind of issue I had with the movie. Is like it was a kind of thing where he had to have premeditated doing this. Yeah. Because you don't just have an argument at that level and then go, fuck it, I'm going to do this. But also I have this cinder block here and we happen to be next to this lake. So I'm just going to dump this body here. Like that was my issue with the original movie, where it just seemed like he must have had this premeditated.
And the crazy thing is, so in the original, and then in the original movie, what really bothered me too was his friend being in the car with him and like them walking to the lake and then him coming back by himself and his friend's like, where's your girl? Like, what's going on? What's happening? I don't understand. Where is she? In this movie, in this version of the movie, his friend is in the car with him, but his friend is so drunk that
he wouldn't remember.
He doesn't remember seeing her, and that's what he essentially tells the cops. Like the cops are like, well, did you see him drop her off? And he's like, well, we had to have dropped her off because she wasn't in the car with us at one point. And then finally he admits to being so drunk that he doesn't remember them doing anything. He just remembers waking up and seeing her purse in the floorboard. And all he says to his friend is like, why is her purse there? And he's like, you don't know what you're talking about, man. Go back to bed. And he's like, all right, whatever.
Yeah, because now that you say that was a problem I had with the original one too. Is like, so you're in this car, they go off, they have this argument, which is loud. Like you can hear it. You would hear her scream when she's
and he
being
stabs
killed.
her.
Yeah,
like again, that's what really throws me
far
off.
enough away. He could be far enough away that you wouldn't see it, but you would definitely hear that stuff. And then he comes back and is just like, oh, well, she's gone. Whatever.
She decided to walk home.
Like, it makes a lot more sense in this one that he would be drunk.
Yeah. So like, that's why I was telling you, like, this one, I really enjoy. Like, I enjoyed the first one because I think Kirk Cameron did a really good job. Or I'm sorry, not Kirk Cameron. Fred Savage did a really good job playing this role. Yeah. And Candace Cameron did a really good job. I think they both did really well. But I think the 2018 one does a really good job of revamping it to make it kind of fit. And another thing I really liked about this one, 2018 one, is that her friend and her are on a different friendship level than her friend from the original movie. So like one of the things her friend visually sees her getting abused by her boyfriend.
like actually sees the act of it.
Yeah,
it's
actually
not just
sees
an
it.
after effect of
Right.
like, oh, she's got this weird bruise on her neck or something.
Right. And
Okay.
at one point, she approaches the neighbor of where the lake house is to where the guy lives. And the neighbor girl who was in a relationship with him previously and told her what happened in their relationship and the fact that she left and she didn't want to do anything with him.
Sure.
She tells her friend, because her friend's like, my issue is if I give her an ultimatum, I won't be friends with her anymore and I'll lose her, and I don't know what to do. And so that lady tells her, then don't do that. Just be a friend to her, which makes sense because it's like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. And one thing that happens is once they're at the prom and she sees what happens, she goes back to her house, and then finally the girl admits that she's been abused, and then like she takes off her shirt, and like you could see like the damages,
see, like, the
and her
damage
friend
stuff.
just like her friend and her like share this like really deep and like emotional point, and like it really
doesn't happen in the original movie.
It doesn't.
So okay.
So that's why I told you like this 2018 one was really good for when they revamped.
Okay. They're both on Tubi? Okay. I watched the original one on YouTube, but I think the new one's probably only on Tubi.
Yeah, so I mean, watch them both. I think they're both really good for you got to put yourself in the time frame of the 96 one and then the 2018 one, and I think they both do really good jobs. Another thing I watched was this movie Dolly. It's a horror movie.
I know what it is. I didn't realize it was up already.
Yeah, it's garbage. You don't have to watch it. Okay. It really is bad. I don't even know where to begin. Like with it, it's just the villain isn't really. I don't even know. Like I watched it and I just really didn't enjoy it. Like I just thought it was like I was like, yeah, it's a movie, but it's not that great. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. And then I watched Prom Night, which was an old movie.
Is it the original 80s one with Jamie Lee Curtis, or is it the 2009?
No, the 2008 one.
2008 one
with Brittany Snow
around there.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was all right. It was a movie. It wasn't crazy, and it wasn't like super.
I remember seeing it when it came out. I don't remember much of it because when I think of that series, I think of the Jamie Lee Curtis one. So
yeah,
it just seemed like a forgettable remake at the time.
Because I haven't seen the Jamie Lee Curtis one, it wasn't horrible, but it was also one of those things where it was like it was kind of stupid of how it made it to this point. Like, I felt like all the kids were like, at one point, they're all like, hey, I'm going up to the suite. And they're like, oh, okay. And then they're like, oh, I haven't seen that person in like an hour. Where are they? And then the other person's like, I'm going to go up to the suite and find them. I'm like, at this point, maybe we should notify somebody. Like, maybe we should talk to somebody about this.
If you're like the fifth person that's disappeared, it might be time to tell somebody.
Might be time to look into this. It was okay. I did watch Cold Storage, which was a new one.
Yeah, I'm aware of it.
Have you heard anything on it so far?
I've heard it's okay. From what I don't think I've heard it's bad, but I don't think I've heard it's like tremendous either.
It's not bad.
I've heard it's just okay.
It's really not bad. It's I will say the same thing.
Amazon?
I don't think it's. I think it was on Amazon. Apple TV. It looks like Amazon. Okay. You can like buy it or like rent it through there.
Okay.
I think the thing I really enjoyed about this one was the why behind what was happening, as far as like it was a fungus from space that was causing it, and the way it kind of adapted and kind of grew and how it made it to its point in the movie, I thought was really well done. I think the Joe Keery played a decent character, like
the Stranger Things guy.
Yeah. And then his co-star Georgina Campbell, I think they played really well off of each other. I don't think they were horrible together or anything like that. I thought the movie was decent. The only reason I watched it is because I saw a couple of like TikToks on it, and I was like, okay, let me try to find it. Let me see what's up with it. But like I said, I will say that I do like the fact that it was like a fungus that was causing the spread of this technically zombie type disease.
Yeah.
It was pretty good. It kind of reminded me of The Happening when that was the big thing with the trees and all that shit. But it was done in a different way on this one. I enjoyed it though. It wasn't horrible. And then the last movie I watched, the creme de la creme, I decided to watch Bambi the Reckoning or Bambi the Rampage. I forgot what it's called. Okay. This is the Bambi horror movie. It's it's everybody in this fucking movie deserved to die. There's not one person in this movie that deserved to live. Not one good person in Bambi. Not one good person. The kid in the movie is garbage. Utter, complete garbage. He deserved to die, and he didn't. Kind of made me angry that he didn't die.
But is it a good movie?
No, it's not a good movie.
Okay.
I put it... So if I had to rate these movies that I've been watching, I guess you could say the Winnie the Pooh universe.
Yeah.
Winnie the Pooh 2 is by far the best one. It's very well done. After that, I would say Peter Pan, the Neverland one, was good. Bambi and Winnie the Pooh 1 are on the same wavelength. They both are trash. I don't really care for them. So the reason Bambi is all crazed and insane is because they're dumping chemicals into the ground, which made him go crazy.
So it has nothing to do with Bambi's mother dying.
I mean, I guess a little, but they don't really say that per se. Okay. I guess you kind of
seems weird to gloss over that in the story of Bambi.
Yeah, it's weird. So I don't even know how to explain what happened, but like, it's just not a good one. One of the deaths that really bugged me was, so like at one point Bambi rips this lady in half. Now, mind you, she is ripped in half. She's got a top part of her body, a lower part of her body, and they are not near each other.
Okay.
At one point, one of the mercenaries in this movie find her. She's still alive. Still alive. It's been a couple of hours that she's been alive. So it's
already unbelievable.
This guy takes out his knife and stabs her in the throat, where her carotid artery just starts pouring out more. Now, mind you, this lady is cut in half.
She would have, like, so much blood would have been lost when she was cut in half.
That is the thing that bugged me the most about this movie.
How would it be possible?
It bugged me the most about this movie.
Oh,
like, I get the concept is he put her out of his misery like you would do for an animal.
I understand that, but
it made no sense because she was already cut in half. And she just started profusely bleeding out of this neck wound. And I was like, this makes no sense. This makes no sense. And like I said, everybody in this movie deserved to die. And the people that lived, they deserved to die too. Like, it didn't make any sense, really, at the end. It's trash. Don't watch it. I have the new Popeye movies on my list right now of stuff to get through.
There were two of them. Is there one that's specifically tied to this larger universe?
I don't know. Maybe let me look it up. Let me see.
Because I can't imagine they both are.
I don't believe
I think that was a situation maybe where one of them was, and then the other one was just, well, this became free domain, so we're going to fucking make our own movie, you know?
Yeah, I can't really see where it would be. Oh, it's saying Popeye's Revenge is the one that's tied to this one. So I'm going to have to watch that one. I'm still going to watch Popeye the Slayer Man, too.
The Slayer Man. I knew it had a dumb name.
Garbage.
I knew it had a dumb name. That one looks worse.
But I will say, out of all of these, I don't know if Pinocchio is tied to this, but that new Pinocchio movie looks fucking dope.
I think part of that too is because they have Robert Englund, like they were able to get him attached to it, and I think that will bring some credibility over some of these other ones. Maybe
I think it's fantastic. I am super stoked for that. Like, I've seen the same trailer a couple of times, and I'm like, man, that thing looks have a release wild.
I would imagine sometime this year.
It says 2026.
Okay.
Oh, and so right now it's saying that upcoming Pinocchio Unstrung is the next one in the series. It's also saying somewhere in 2026, Pooniverse Monsters Assemble is supposed to happen. And then to be announced would be Winnie the Pooh 3 Blood and Honey. So let me kill myself now.
Enough, they're going to make a third one.
But I mean, I will say it's if they follow the same aspect of Winnie the Pooh 2, Winnie the Pooh 3 can be really good and entertaining. Essentially, kind of how Terrifier 3 was to me.
It's kind of like how Terrifier was for me, whereas like when we got to the third one, I'm like, this is actually a pretty good
the third
movie.
one, I was like, okay, they've actually created really a storyline.
Yeah.
Not like Hell House. Hell House can burn because that movie hasn't done anything crazy. And I've watched all of those, and I keep doing myself like
I've only ever watched the first one and didn't bother with the other ones because I didn't like the first one.
But look at this. Okay, real quick. So apparently in this Pooniverse is what they're referring to it as. It's saying the list of characters scheduled to make a debut is Pooh, Tigger, Piglet, Owl, Bambi, Peter Pan, Tinkerbell, Hook, Pinocchio, Jiminy Cricket. Also going to introduce Rabbit, Sleeping Beauty, the Mad Hatter, the Cheshire Cat, and others. So I don't know what's gonna. And they announced
I feel like that's not gonna hit 2026.
And announced that Mary Poppins will also debut in the movie too.
Boy,
I'm telling you what, if this is, I might be excited for this. If this comes out in 2026, this might be my movie of the year. I'm not even gonna lie. But yeah, that's everything I've seen so far. So we can jump into emails now.
We can kick over to the emails. We got a few. First email comes to us from Charlie from Grand Rapids in Michigan. Hey, 572 crew. Last episode, you guys talked about how Xbox footprint in the retail space is pretty much turned into nothing but digital currency cards. Microsoft scaling back so far. Do you really see them going full force with a new console? It just seems wild to me, like the last of the remaining fanboys have this delusion at some point that somehow, some way, Xbox is going to come back with this new console and it's going to be like the good old days. I just don't see it. What do you all think? I don't see it either. Like, they're not like, I think we've been pretty upfront on, like, I don't think the next Xbox has a disk drive.
Not at all.
When it comes out, there's no reason for them to have space for physical games. So I think that's what you see right now is them preparing for that level of space in retail places. Like, they'll have the case that has the system, and they're going to have the thing right next to it for digital currency cards for Game Pass and like a select few of the recent games that have come out.
Yeah, I don't see it going to the point where it's. Yeah, I think this new console is going to be strictly like your Steam Deck. You're just going to run...
I will say on the flip side, I think that Sony's route forward will be like it is now, where I think that system will come out without a disk drive, but they will offer it a la carte. and then you'll have to make that decision. But I will say that it will be the last generation for them that has a disc drive. But I think they will at least have the option.
I don't know, man. I can honestly say that I think if Sony can possibly start leaning towards less production physical copy wise and more digital copy wise, that new console may even stray away from the disc drive, to be honest with you, because it's already we already talked about it. It's already going to be approaching $1,000, if not more.
Yeah.
I really don't see people willing to pay another, and I guess maybe that's the way they get you out of it, is the disc drive
selling
is an additional $200, and you're going to be like, I don't want to pay that for that disc drive. I guess I'll just.
I think that's
separately.
another way they'll kill it. To be fair,
yeah,
but I still think they'll have the option because that just seems kind of like Sony's thing. But I do think it'll be the last generation that they have that.
I can agree. I think that'll be done with it.
I would say if they didn't already offer the disc drive as a separate thing and they just sold a disc drive system and a digital system, then I would say absolutely not. It would be a digital only system. But because they have that option now, they're already used to, we at least have this option. And I think that's why you would maybe see it, but it would definitely be a separate thing.
Yeah,
and that would be their excuse to keep the cost of the console down and say, well, if you really want this, you can pay us an extra $200.
This is what it's going to be.
I don't think you're wrong to say that it would be $200 because that's what I feel it would be in 2029 or whatever.
It'd have to be $200 at this point in time because
right
essentially
now, I don't.
They got to be pushing people away from that.
I don't think they raised the price of the disc drive with these price hikes. I think it's still at $80. At least it was the last time I saw one in a store. So
yeah, it's got to be 200 for the next one.
Still getting gouged elsewhere. So yeah. And I will say, like most of the stores, a couple weekends ago when we went down southern part of Illinois, for whatever reason that weekend I happened to get into two different Walmarts, and I will say the two Walmarts that I went into. Both of the, and I walked through both of the game sections, and there were no disc versions of the PS5. It was all either the digital edition or the Pro.
Yeah. They
did have disc drives separately, but I did not see like an actual, here it is with the disc drive. So it really seems like they kind of pulled away from that model. So
yeah, I guess so.
Brent from Bloomington, Indiana. Howdy, guys. With once again another set of price hikes, when do you think we see this fall upon the Nintendo Switch 2 again? I haven't bought one yet because there just hasn't been that killer app that would reel me in at this point, but I'm also fearful of waiting if the price goes up above the current. I've already seen this happen with the other consoles multiple times. I just don't know if it's worth waiting at this point.
I'll be real with you. My thought process is this. We are already seeing price hikes on the Xbox. We're just now seeing them on the PS5. We've already seen price hikes on the original Switch. The Switch 2 is only a matter of time before it's going to do it. So if you are honestly on the fence about buying a Switch 2 because you can't think of a game that's really going to get to you, it's going to get to the point where either you buy a Switch 2 and you play what's available, and if hopefully you get a game that actually makes you excited for the Switch 2, or you just don't buy it and you just deal with the fact that you're probably not going to be able to play those games because what is it now? It's at like $500 for a Switch 2?
It's $450 if you buy the version without Mario Kart, or I think now they have a Donkey Kong bundle too, or that version is $500 with game. But I think it's still at $450 last time that I saw.
Yeah, I thought so.
I haven't seen any in I know the other day on Woot they were actually selling regular, like without the game, for $400, I think.
Oh man.
They sold that real fast.
So Nintendo Switch, looking at Walmart, the regular Nintendo Switch 2. Oh, I'm sorry. This is at Macy's. I apologize.
Okay.
$499.
That's the regular version?
That's the regular version. And it's saying here that through Walmart, this is the Tears of the Kingdom bundle. is $589 right now.
Damn.
So I'm telling you, man, like at this point in time, it's either you don't buy a Nintendo Switch 2 and you just deal with the fact that you're not going to play Nintendo Switch 2 games, or you buy a Nintendo Switch 2 with the hopes of them releasing something that will make you actually feel like buying it. Because my thing is, even if you buy a Nintendo, let's say you buy a Nintendo Switch 2 right now at the price point of $500, that's cool. You know, whatever. That's what the system's sitting at. That's fine. And let's say they decide to up the Switch to 150 more bucks to where it goes from like, you know, 500. It's at 750.
650.
Or 650. At this point, even if you decided you didn't want your Switch 2, you could probably flip it for under the price it's at 500 and still make your money back.
Yeah.
So it's like, I really feel like at this point in time, you just have to, if you're on the fence about buying it, just buy one, man. Like,
look at what I ended up doing with that second Series X, where I went and traded that in last fall.
Yeah.
And I paid $400 for that when it came out. It was the Forza whatever bundle. It was in 2022 when I got that second Xbox. And when I bought that for $400, I got $340 store credit. So
exactly,
that's wild.
That's crazy
for a system that's 5 years old at the times.
That is just crazy.
And that was just an extra. That was the other one I had that I originally bought because I thought that at the time that we would use it more in the house, but we ended up not. So
that's what
I will say, because
like,
I looked it up. So like Walmart's kind of crazy because they have third party sellers.
Yeah.
The actual real listing for the Switch 2 is at $450.
I see that.
So
now.
that is the standard price. And they do have the Mario Kart bundle still. That is $500. But again,
they got one on here for $382. Like, I just feel like if you're sitting on the fence, you just might as well buy it.
I think a lot of people are skeptical right now because of the other price hikes, but then you get those rumors of like an Ocarina of Time remake and stuff, and you go, well, maybe I should get one now.
Well, because then what happens, like, you know, like you said, we're on the eve of the E3s, not E3s coming up soon, and with Nintendo doing a direct here soon, okay, this is just shout out dark. What if Nintendo gives you a couple of titles you haven't seen or a couple of new titles that make you excited, or do they do an Ocarina
but a
of
new
Time?
Mario game?
Yeah, they've got a new Mario
Odyssey
game.
2?
They've got Mario. Yeah, let's say they got Odyssey 2 sitting on their back burner, and let's say they do decide to make Ocarina of Time a remake to that, and let's say they got a new Star Fox game sitting in the wings. And what if they do all of that to open the show by saying, due to the price or due to the current issues with whatever's going on, we've had to increase the price of our Switch 2 going forward. It's an additional $100 or $125 or $150, whatever they do it. But to help combat that, let's show you what we have in the chamber. And all of a sudden they drop all of these on you. And because, you know, like what? The new Pokemon game, the Winds and Waves or whatever.
Waves, that'll be next fall. The
only Switch 2. So it's like,
I feel like the new Star Fox is probably an only Switch 2 game, and whatever the Zelda remake would also be a Switch 2 only.
It's got to be, right? So at this point in time, that's why I'm saying, like, you really have to think about it with Xbox price hiking, Nintendo going up with the Switch 1, the Sony now saying the PS5 is being raised up in price. I would honestly assume by the end of the year, if Nintendo hasn't, I'd be shocked. I would be shocked.
Be surprised too.
Yeah.
The only thing I think that would maybe play into saving it a little bit longer is the fact that they scaled that production back.
Exactly.
But at the same time, they could run into a potential situation where, let's say, that stuff is real. Ocarina of Time remake is this November. Yeah, people are going to go run out and buy Switch 2s if that is only on that system and not something that is playable on the original Switch. So
yeah,
I don't know. We'll see. But again, you have to make that. You have to get to a point where you have to make that decision of like, should I just do it now? And the way history has gone so far, the answer to that is probably yes.
Probably yes.
We've seen what happened with the other two systems and these ridiculous price hikes. So
yeah. And it's not like they're gonna jump back on. Like, let's say, you know, the RAM crisis corrects itself, and we've all of a sudden got an abundance of it. It's not like they're gonna be like
drastically drop it down.
Yeah, they're not gonna be like, hey, starting tomorrow, the PS5 is gonna go back to its original price
$500.
No,
yeah, I don't.
They're gonna be like, yeah, we're gonna keep it at the same price point it is because you guys are buying it. So whatever.
That's the problem. Unless it was a dramatic, like, okay, the sales have stopped. People are not buying this at this price.
Yeah.
There's no reason for them to go back. Even if the RAM crisis and the GPU crisis, you know, subsides. There's no
reason at all.
No guarantee, and there's no reason that they would.
Nope.
So I sure read this email when we were talking about Supergirl, but Carrie from Conway, Arkansas. Hey, 572. What are your thoughts about now that we've gotten a second Supergirl trailer? Do you think that this movie is going to land at all, or is it just going to get lost in the summer movie shuffle? I just don't see any hype surrounding it. Thanks. I mean, I'll be honest, I haven't seen a lot of hype around it, but I think a lot of that is stolen by Spider-Man. So,
yeah,
like, I knew by them holding on to that Spider-Man trailer and then finally putting it out that it would be a big deal. I did not expect that trailer to become the #1 most watched movie trailer of all time.
I can believe it.
Oh, I mean, Spider-Man is more popular than ever. It's a tough situation because I think at least with Superman last year, there was, like, watching those trailers, seeing the angle they were going for with the character, I think there was a lot of hope there that, like, hey, they're going to make a good Superman movie. And this movie, I don't see people talking about it the way that I saw people talking about Superman. So,
but I also feel
I hope it does okay.
I really hope it does too, but I really feel like Supergirl's also one of those characters where people are just kind of like, meh. It's kind of like, you know, I don't know.
I'll tell you how you get butts in seats for Supergirl, okay? Batman starts filming in May.
There you go.
They're starting next week. They're not going to have much time that they filmed, but you could cut a trailer real quickly. And all it has to be, and I didn't put this in the movie section, but the working title for that new Batman movie, it's a Latin phrase, but I saw it today. Let me pull it up because it essentially alludes to who the villain is of what the threat of the movie is. I sent it to Dan, so let me pull it up here because I'm all for what it is. It's of all the options that they have, and they have a plethora of options to choose from for Batman, and that director's been out there. He's been very vocal about, hey, this is going to be something you haven't seen in a Batman film before. So the working title, and I will butcher the fuck out of this because it's Latin, but it's it is the Latin phrase semper vigilans. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Because it basically translates to either always vigilant or ever watching. And so people are putting that together that it is the Court of Owls.
Okay.
And the reason it's the Court of Owls because there is the nursery rhyme from that storyline that says, beware the Court of Owls that watches all the time, ruling Gotham from a shadowed perch behind granite and lime. They watch you at your hearth. They watch you in your bed. Speak not a whispered word of them, or they'll send the talon for your head. So, the only reason why I hesitate to say they wouldn't do it is because that first Batman movie, I don't know if you've seen it or not.
Nope. Is
very grounded in realism. Like even more so than the Nolan movies. Like,
okay.
In the Nolan movies, they kind of started to allude a little bit to, I thought at that third movie when there's that one really weird scene when he's in the prison after Bane breaks his back, that he has that hallucination of Ra's al Ghul. And there was that moment in the theater when they did that. I was like, oh, they're going to fucking do it. They're going to do the Lazarus Pit. And I got super excited, and they didn't do it. So I'm like, and I realized after, I was like, because they're going for, this would be what would happen if Batman really existed in the world right now.
Yeah.
I don't know if they would do that for this version of Batman, because I find that the Matt Reeves Batman movie is somehow, it feels even more grounded in realism. It's more like, even if you've never watched it, it's like watching a cop movie, essentially. It's a detective cop movie. It has more of the elements of Batman as a detective than any other film version of it. And it's really cool for that reason. It's one of the real reasons why I really like this version of Batman. And you could write a great detective story around the Court of Owls. The problem with it is the Court of Owls gets into that fantastical stuff. Okay. Like a Lazarus Pit would be. You introduce a Lazarus Pit. What is a Lazarus Pit? Well, you get dunked into that thing and you essentially re-heal and can live longer. Talons in the Court of Owls thing, same thing. Very similar. It's not a Lazarus Pit, but they're put into these like coffin things that essentially heal them and allow them to live longer. So could they do the Court of Owls and cut that fantastical part of it out and still have Talons, which are like their assassins? Sure, but I don't think it would be as impactful. Okay. And there's also a real good horror element for the Court of Owls. One of the main reasons why I love that run of Batman, why I absolutely love Absolute Batman, which is it's got me back into reading comics, is Scott Snyder. That writer is primarily first a horror writer. That's how that guy got started. So he injects horror into almost every Batman story that he writes. So the Court of Owls definitely leans into horror. But again, all you have to do, and it's a long roundabout way of saying this, all you have to do, cut a 30-second trailer, confirm that is the threat for this new Batman movie, throw that in front of Supergirl, like people would be fucking hyped for that. So I can see that. That would, and like, even if you put it out and we're like, hey, if you go see Supergirl this weekend, you're going to see this Batman trailer, and we're not going to put it out till Monday. Yeah. So if you want to see it, go to the theater. So I can see that. I can see that to build some hype, even though it's not related to the DCU, and I hope they stick with that. I don't want to see Pattinson interject with Superman because it doesn't make any sense. So even though you can find a million YouTube videos out there where people are pulling different, pieces around and throwing it together and be like, no, because there's this one shot in Superman where there's an off-ramp exit sign that says Gotham City, and that means he's gonna, like, no, it's not gonna happen. Yeah. Like, get the tinfoil hat off.
I don't know, man. I like my tinfoil hat.
I want it to be good, though. I want Supergirl to be a good movie, but I have my issues with it, which we've already discussed. Yeah. Grady from Grand Island, Nebraska. Now that the dust has finally settled on Resident Evil 9 and the reception was overwhelmingly positive while also being the fastest selling game in the franchise to date, what do you think is next for this franchise? Do we get a Resident Evil 5 remake? Code Veronica, a remake of the original game to celebrate the 30th anniversary? It really seems like the sky is the limit with this franchise currently. They put out that survey a while ago. I think I've referenced this before too, where they basically asked players, what do you want to see next? Like, do you want a remake of this, and this? Shockingly, the overwhelming response to that was Resident Evil 5. Yeah. Which makes me happy because I absolutely love Resident Evil 5s. With that being said, like, I would like to see a Code Veronica remake because I don't think that game gets the due that it's deserved. And originally when it came out, it was locked to the Dreamcast. It did come out on other platforms later, but I would like to see that game get its due, and I think would be perfectly ripe for a remake in the style of Resident Evil 2, 3, and 4 remake. Yeah. But I think the easy answer would be 5. I also can envision a world where, in addition to a Resident Evil 5 remake, we do get a remake of the original game in the Resident Evil 2, 3, and 4 remake style. That would be nice. Even though there is an HD remaster of that GameCube version, which is my favorite game of all time, and I love that game. I've played it to death. I've speedrun it. Like, absolutely, it's my favorite game of all time. Even with that being said, and I don't necessarily think that there needs to be a remake of that game, I would 100% play one and be more than happy to play one. So, And the important thing to think about that too is like they already have voice and mocap actors to play those roles. Like they had one for a remake of 2 for Leon and Claire. They have one for Jill for Resident Evil 1 now. We have Chris, so they could easily do it. But I think the easy answer is Resident Evil 5. I think that's next. Obviously, they'll make a Resident Evil 10. That's going to be several years away now. But the way 9 ends, we're going to get there. So, and that, like I said before, if you've seen that game and at this point, it's been out a month. I don't think it's spoiler. It'll be a Chris Redfield game, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Final email we have comes to us from Brad from Portland, Oregon. He says, "Hey dudes, love the extended conversation about Pokemon not evolving. My question is sort of related. Do you think there's any point where the bubble bursts on the card game? I know your cast is about games and movies, but since this is something that is adjacent to the games, I'm curious what your thoughts are on that, and if it is going to eventually burst and the prices come down. It just seems insane to me that as a father that my kids would love to get more into that card game, but it is almost impossible for a kid today to get into the card hobby for Pokemon with all the scalpers."
So looking into this one, and it's actually kind of interesting. The new one that they just dropped, Perfect Order, is supposed to be centered more around the card game. From what I've been reading, it's like I think in the perfect. So like most of the new releases have, I think it's up to like 125 cards, something like that. If I remember correctly, the Perfect Order, I think, is sitting at like 80. Like, that's the master set for that.
That's not bad in comparison.
It's not bad. How many cards are in the set? And from what I've read, it's supposed to be more centered for the actual card game. Like, you're supposed to be getting into it if you want to do it. The thing about this, though, is even though scalpers are really big into Pokemon, they still have those Pokemon decks that are specifically built for playing the game. So, like, you can pick, and those decks are still available in stores. Like, scalpers don't buy them specifically because there's not packs in them to open. So there's really no benefit for them to buy them. So they typically leave them alone so that, if you play the game, you can actually get those. And yeah, you could get the games, the cards themselves to like play, but if you just want to like dive into the card game per se, you have the ability of doing that just with like the normal decks, I really don't feel like you need to have like the alt arts. I mean, yeah, their hit points might be a little higher. But I don't think you necessarily need all of them in order to actually enjoy the game itself. And I think that's where everybody's kind of like, that's where you're kind of looking at it. Like, a lot of these cards people are getting are collectors because that's what they want. They just want the collector cards.
Yeah.
I don't think that's what you need, though, anymore to play the game. And to be honest with you, if the card game is something you're interested in, a lot of like... And I only know this because I've recently been going in the card shops because I'm actively now collecting more into Pokemon cards. A lot of card
shops. Is that for yourself though, or is that?
Yeah, it's only for me.
Kids?
Like no,
kids are not like I want to play Pokemon card.
Well, my oldest wants to play Pokemon, and my best friend has told him before, like, well, I can get you into the card game, but I don't know why he hasn't wanted to dive in yet. He just keeps making an excuse on if he does or doesn't. But what I was going to say is a lot of card shops nowadays sell bulk cards. Like,
absolutely.
You can literally go in and make decks and like play the game if you really want to. Like, I went into one shop recently where they just give away bulk cards. They don't even ask you for anything.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah. They have like 2 or 3 boxes that were just bulk cards, and you can take as many as you want to make the decks you want to make to play the games if you want to.
That's cool.
And then I've been into one where they've charged you for it, but it's been like 50 cents to $1 per card. Like, it's not really it's not that bad, not that expensive. So I feel like right now the bubble on Pokemon I don't think it's ever going to go away, because people are now starting to see the I guess the high dollar value in some of these, because once the print is done, it's done. Like, they're not going to go back and reprint. They're not reprinting the original prints from 96 because there's no point anymore. So I saw a video today where a dude bought, I don't even know how much money he spent, but he bought a pack of Costco cards from 96.
I've seen those kind of videos before where and that is a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. But even so, they're now I think they just recently did a reprint of 151 and Prismatic that just recently dropped, along with this Perfect Order one, because I was at the card shop, and when Perfect Order dropped, and I grabbed a pack for my kids. But when I was there in the store, they had 151 and Prismatic packs too, which those are older sets, but I haven't seen those in a while. So I don't think there's ever going to be a point where the bubble burst. I think it's going to definitely slow down over time. It's just one of those things where you're going to have to just be on the hustle if that is something you're interested in, and you're going to have to start looking at places where maybe scalpers are kind of not leaning towards, like Family Dollars and Dollar Generals, and getting in touch with, no offense, but getting in well with people who work at Best Buy, or if you have friends that work at Walmart and can hook you up. I got a friend that works for a Best Buy, and when something drops, he messages me and he's like, "Hey, are you interested?" And I'm like, "Nah," or "Yeah," and he'll buy them for me, and then I'll just go pick them up for him and then bring them home. So it kind of is one of those things where it sucks, because as a parent to kids who are into that kind of hobby, you have to put more work into that than to just showing up at a cart, showing up at Walmart and hope to grab a pack. You know what I mean? It's just not going to work out like that for you anymore. You're just going to have to put in more time, unfortunately. And I don't think these scalpers are ever going to really go away, just because they know there's such a value on Pokemon right now.
Yeah. I mean, I'll say, back when I was into the card game, when I was a kid, I remember, it's nice now today. There's so many of those types of stores.
Yeah.
That when we were kids, those stores, they did exist, but not at the level or the amount that they do today. I remember one of the times that I went when I was I would have been 5th, 6th grade, went to work with my dad on a Saturday. One of the reasons I went with him, because at the time he would travel to different cities in the district. He was a district manager of a retail fabric store for 30 years.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons I went with him was because I knew in the town that he was going to, there was a specific store that sold Pokemon cards. And not just going to a Walmart or something and buying packs, but loose cards. It was actually a store for that kind of stuff. And that was a big deal, because again, those kind of stores, while they did exist, they weren't at the level that they are today.
Yeah.
So that was a big deal at the time. I'll say where we go on the weekends, sometimes when we go to a coffee shop in the town immediately next to us. Right next to them, there is a really nice board game store that also, they sell Warhammer, they sell Pokemon cards, they sell Magic the Gathering. I'm not very interested in Pokemon per se, and it's just I just grew out of it, and we've talked at length about how that series needs to evolve. But I would be very interested in getting into Magic the Gathering. But that just seems so on the same level as Pokemon. That seems so daunting, A, to get into, and B, the scalping is even worse for that game than it is. So that's like one of those I look at, I'm like, I can't even comprehend trying to get into that right now, because I'm looking at it objectively as someone who is interested in playing the game. And the thing is too, like for that game, like they have so many of these new, like here's the Final Fantasy set, here's the Spider-Man set. I'm interested in just the fantasy sets of that game. Like I'm not even interested in these new. I don't look at Magic and go, oh, I want to get into because I love Final Fantasy or I love Spider-Man, but I objectively avoid it because of this issue, because of the scalping and everything. And Pokemon unfortunately suffers the same thing. The difference is like that is a child's game. So it does suck for parents and stuff, where it's like, my kid just wants to play Pokemon game, Pokemon card. It's kind of impossible sometimes.
And that's the thing about it is impossible right now. Like you go to the shelf in the Pokemon, you go to the Pokemon shelf in Walmart, and the only thing you're going to find is stuffed animals and actual like toys, Yeah. And like I said, you have to get in good with these people to like in hopes of them dropping it. But I mean, dude, like in my area, what was it? Like a couple months ago, I was at a friend's house watching wrestling pay-per-view. It was back in December, because it was John Cena's farewell tour. And I stopped at a gas station that night to get gas. And when I walked in, there was a display for Pokemon cards. So like, crazy. That's what I'm saying. Like as a parent, and it sucks that you have to do this, but as a parent, if you have kids that are into the hobby like that, you have to hustle. And by hustle, I mean, you have to like get out there and introduce yourself to people and meet people and like and I sucks because I absolutely hate being one of those people that say go to like card shops and like try to talk to the people that work there, because I absolutely can't stand going to card shops and letting those people just sit there and talk to the workers and like follow the workers, because I'm like, dude, just get out the way. On the other side of that, I am literally just trying to buy this so I can go home. But like, it's just one of those things where like, if your kids are interested in the hobby, you have to do more work, unfortunately, for them, because scalpers are going to make this ridiculous. Yeah. So, Brad, it sucks, dude, but like, do what you can if your kids are really into it. And I do know like a lot of card shops too, like if kids are really interested in the game, they have decks specifically for gameplay for kids. Like I have ran into a couple of them that have told me that if your kid is interested, they're welcome to come play. Tuesday nights are Pokemon nights, and we actually have decks built for gameplay for the card game. We'll teach them and stuff like that. So I don't know where you're, I know you're in Portland. I don't know, what part of Portland you're in or whatnot.
There's got to be a lot of those types
There's got to be a couple of shops there that do offer that, or at least maybe like in the surrounding areas that have to. Scalpers aren't going to leave Pokemon alone, and
no,
I think now they're not
the Gathering alone either.
They're not either. So it's like you have to get, if you're really interested in something, you have to get into a set, and you just have to like go hard into it to do your very best to get there.
Yeah, I mean it's always tough when I go into one of those kind of stores, because like I'd really like to get into Magic the Gathering, but I avoid it because of the scalper situation. I'd love to get into Warhammer, but I avoid that because I know that will fucking destroy my life if I get into it, because I'll be painting minifigs all day.
Oh god,
so like it's tough. Like every time I go into one of those stores, like we end up just typically getting board games that hopefully one day we'll get to playing. But I would love to get into Magic the Gathering. I mean, the game looks very interesting. Oh, here you go.
This right now is what I'm sitting on right now, and like, I've been buying these cards not because I'm playing the game, but because I'm actively wanting to collect them because I like turtles so much. But like, I have completely started filling this up with the packs that I've been buying and the collector's tins I've run into.
The Magic Turtles?
Yes, the Magic
Is that
Turtles
the most recent thing that came out? Like the crossover, right? Okay.
Yes, this is the most recent
Final
crossover.
Fantasy, Spider-Man, Turtles, and The problem is it's hard for me to see what's real or not because I see memes all the time for like what's not. Like my favorite one is the one I saw where it's like the Magic the Gathering Law and Order, and that made me chuckle. Like they're not doing a Law and Order set, you know.
I mean,
like,
if they did, I might be interested.
I would be into that. I'll take a Magic the Gathering card of Benson and one of Ice-T. Like that's
give
cool.
Give me one of what's his name?
Munch.
Finn. Yeah, I'd do a Munch card. Yeah.
That would be cool. But I always laugh when I see the memes. But sometimes they're convincing enough where I'm like, is this one real? Like I don't know.
Yeah.
So that one I saw, I was like, there's no way they're doing that.
Yeah, it sucks. It sucks the most because, like we said, scalpers are everywhere, and they're just once they latch on to something, it takes them a while to finally get off of it. But the biggest problem is like once you have a scalper that's got something and they know what the value of it is, it becomes that game where do you want to pay that price because you really need that, or do you just say forget it and I won't get that? You know what I mean? Like you just have to pull the trigger at some point and just kind of like figure out what's going to work for what you're trying to get done.
No, so I mean, I'm looking at, in the end of this month, the 25th, I think, is when we go to the big convention that we go to every year for the retro games. They have that kind of stuff there too. They definitely have Magic the Gathering and stuff too. But like, it's the same thing now. Like the last couple of years I've gone to that, I've taken a set amount of money and I typically try to stay away from anything that's above like $30. Just to collect more, titles that I'm looking for that are filler, because even the retro game market is still ridiculous at times. Like, I would love to collect Dreamcast, and I really wish a decade ago I would have started collecting Dreamcast stuff when it wasn't sought after like it is now. But it's to that point where those are outrageous. Like, just a sports, like Tony Hawk, shouldn't have cost almost $30, but it does.
And so this is something I'll say. This is the last thing I'll say to you. So, like, I went to a card show this past weekend because, like I said, one of the things I'm starting to do is I'm starting to collect specific cards for Pokemon that I really enjoy. And I spent, like, the entire day tracking down all of these and, like, working deals out for what I wanted to get. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like I also then took the cards that I have been collecting over the years and I just took them all as trade value and trade bait and just kind of like did that. So I mean, getting what you need it's available and it's an option. You just have to like finesse it. And dare I even say, dude, look at yard sales or like estate sales.
Be surprised what like an old couple who's had, kids that have grown up and moved out, what those kids have left behind that they just have no idea the value.
Not even necessarily that too, because like my kid at one point was selling Pokemon cards at the yard sale like we would throw, and he'd sell them for like 5 cents or a nickel or a quarter, and like you could probably buy cards off of kids so your kids could play. You just have to and like I said, I really hate to do this because I know as parents right now, we're already under a lot of pressure. If your kids are really interested in playing the game, I definitely say look at other card shops in your area to see if that is something they house so that your kids can kind of really see if it is an interest in theirs. And if they are really interested in it, dude, you just have to go in and hustle to find what you need for getting them the decks they want and stuff like that. It sucks that you have to do it, but with scalpers, they're not going to let it go. You know what I mean?
When you were a kid in the 90s, did you ever collect those Marvel trading cards? That's what I collected.
Bro. Hold on.
I need to find mine because the art on those were like really awesome. Are you trying to find some right now?
I have them right here because I was like looking at them. These are a handful of the ones that I have, like, because I was like interested at one point. I was like, well, maybe I can sell these because I don't need them anymore.
Yeah.
And these are all the metal ones that I got.
There were the metal ones. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, these are all the metal ones. And like, what's funny is at the card show I went to this past weekend, there was a person there that was selling these, like not metals, but they were selling Marvel cards.
Yeah,
dude, I saw one person there. I didn't even know they had that. Like after I looked at it, I was like, oh my gosh, I do remember these. They were selling Ghostbuster trading cards, man.
I remember that.
And I was like, what? And he had like entire decks. Like the box was like this big. He wanted $20 for them. And granted, I wanted to buy them, but I was like, I can't keep collecting stuff because my wife is going to get mad at me. So I restrained myself. But I mean, like, yeah, it's some of these hobbies suck, especially with scalpers. I mean, video games is bad too, especially with like, you know, the resellers 100%. And stuff. You just kind of have to, in a way, outsmart them. Yeah. And once you find a system that works for you, like in my area, I know when the restock is happening at specific stores. So like when I need to, I will just go to those stores and ask if they have packs available. And if they're like, yeah, I've gotten in good with one of the ladies now. She's like, she saw my face one day and I was like, I didn't ask her if she had cards. I just went in the store to get something. And after I paid for my stuff, I was like, you know what? Let me ask. Are you selling Pokemon? Do you have any Pokemon cards? She was like, I thought you weren't going to ask me for them. And she pulled out like an entire case. And I was like, oh gosh, thank you so much. And she was like, I was waiting for you to come get them. And I was like, I almost forgot about them, honestly. So yeah, sucks, but.
Well, as always, you can send your emails into podcast572@gmail.com. Otherwise, we'll be back in another 2 weeks for another edition of the podcast. Thank you for listening or watching.
Stay safe.